In this video, I'll show you how to use list management in Microsoft Copilot Studio. So, list management basically involves taking the context of an object. So, take for example, if you have an object of your data set. So, give an example like, say, number of countries who have won gold, silver, and bronze for a specific Olympic event. Now, if you have that data set, now say take for example, if you have three countries listed in your data set, and if you want to now manipulate that data set, if you want to add a record within that data set, you can dynamically do that using list management. Now, the use case, another use case would be like a ticketing system. So if you have, say, set of tickets within your application, and if you have retrieved that whole entire data set, and if some person has added a new ticket through Copilot Studio, then you can add that in the list, internal list, and then you can take that entire list and then synchronize with your backend system. So there are multiple use cases for list management. It's all about retrieving the list content and manipulating the content within the list. So let's jump into the demo for list management. Now, let me pick up a simple agent in copilotstudio.preview.microsoft.com or copilotstudio.microsoft.com. So let me pick up, say, gen org agent. So this is one agent which I have created. It does not have any specific thing, no instructions, and this is just like a simple agent which I have provisioned. Now, if I go into the topic, I can see there are all out of the box topic. I've created some topic, but I have turned it off for the demonstration purpose. So let's first look into the data set. The data set which I was referring to is a country, a list of countries who have won different medals in, say, specific Olympic. Now, United States has won 39, silver 41, bronze 33, and then China has won 38, 32, and 18 gold, silver, bronze, respectively. Now, I've got this data set. Now, your data set can be in a different format. This is my format. What if I explain you this format? It has an object, say items, and within items, it is a collection of different array items. Now, this is my data set. Now, this data set can be any custom data set which you have within your backend data source. Now, if you have, say, similar data source, now this is like a valid JSON file. What you can do, you can copy this and then you can paste this JSON. Now, alternatively, you can, it is always advisable to eliminate those syntax error. Let you minify this content. So if I just press Alt M, because I have installed a minified extension, so I'm just press Alt M and it will give me all the JSON object in one line. So I'm going to use this. So I'll just copy this and keep it ready. Now, going into the topics, let me create a topic. Now here I will do something called as a list management. So for that, I will just say list management is my topic name, and just for demonstration purpose, I will say trigger this topic when user types list. So when the user types in list, this particular topic will get triggered. Now over here, if I go, I have various options. I can send a message, I can ask a question, ask with adaptive card. But in variable management, you will see something called as a list management. So variable management and list management. So if I go to variable management, list management, I get various options. So I get modify the list, I can skip to item in the list, I get end loop over here. So I can do all this thing. Now I've already covered looping through the list. So this is like for loop kind of an interface, which I've already covered in a separate video. You can have a look into that. Now loop through a list, basically loop through the item in a list and displays the specific list item. Now let's pick up modify list. Okay. Now let's go ahead and first create our data set. So first what you need to do, go to variable management, set a variable value, and here you need to create a new variable. So I'll create a new variable. I won't name the variable as of now. It's called as var1. It is a string, so to value, and I'll paste the JSON. Now it will automatically detect the data type and say var1 is of type string. Now you need to format the content in order to iterate through the loop. So for that, go to variable management, parse value, and take the input which you got from here. So var1 output, parse the value, select var1. In the data type, you don't know the exact data type because it is in the form of a JSON. Pick up from sample data, get schema from sample JSON, paste the content, confirm, and it will save this as a variable. Now you need to specify, you need to create a new variable. So you'll create another variable. Now if you see the data type, it has picked up automatically that that's record, right? So that's the record which we have got. Now if I go to add a node, and if I go to variable management, list management, I have an option to modify the list. So I'll go and I can come here and I'll say modify the list. Now here in the modify list, it says I can perform various operation, but on which list? So I got this where to as a record. So record means like it's an individual, uh, say, let me go ahead and show you the record set. So if I go into the JSON format document, now this is one record, right? So this is entire table, and this is one of the record. This is another record, and this entire thing is a table, right? So similarly, if you see this concept, it says list variable, select a variable. So let me pick up where to. So I can pick up a record or a table. Now let me pick up a record over here. So if I pick a record over here, it says variable is being set to an incorrect type, assigned record, expected table. So it does not take record as an input. So what you need to do, you need to select a table over here. So where to dot items, so that's a table, we need a table. And then you can perform various operations. So change type, different operations you can perform. You have add item, remove item, take first item, take last item, clear all items. So let's pick up a simple one first. So let's say take the first item, save result as. So if you want to save this result as in a different variable, so let me create a variable name as var3. Now var3 is a record set. Now what it will do, out of this entire table, it will take the first item. Now var3 is an record, is a variable of type record. We will go to send a message, and here let's extract the component of var3. So if I go to enter a message, click here in the variable, so var3, let me pick up where3, and I can either put where3 and show complete content within that, or I can go to where3 and then I can specify bronze, country, gold, silver. So let me pick up one item, say country. Okay, so where3, the entire record set, and then there is a country. So let's go ahead and click on save. So what we have done over here, we have just executed one method, take first item. Now the trigger which we need to type in is, I believe it's called as list. Okay, so go to test and type in list. So if I type in list, it will give me the first object, bronze 33, country United States, gold 39, silver. So if you see, it has bit altered the format. It has sorted it alphabetically. So you get B first, then C, then G, and then S, right? But if you see our data set, it is country, gold, silver, bronze. So this is how the record set will be extracted. It doesn't look into the actual the placing of the data, but then you get all the object. But then if you want to retrieve a specific object, which we have done, so we have extracted the country name from here, where 3 dot country, and that's why I got United States. So we have successfully retrieved the first item. Now if I edit the code again, so if I go over here, modify items in a list, now instead of first item, I will say take the last item. It says discard your content, I'll say discard, and save where result as where3. Now here again, like I can just delete the message, go over here, send a message. I think I clicked on ask a question, so let me remove that. Send a message, and let's pick up where3. So where3, what does it give you? So we can see, does it give you any object? So let me, sometimes if you do not see this information, don't worry, just click on delete, click on save, because it should take that context within the canvas through which you are updating the code. Now if I click on add and add a node, send a message, and now still you will not see, because what has happened is when we change the item over here, it removed the variable as well. So save result as variable, so click over here again, create a new variable, then it will create var3, which is of type record. If you go over here again, you take where3 as an record, or maybe I can go ahead and pick up where3 dot country. Okay, so let's see what country does it gives you. So click on save. So now the action is take the last item. So if I type in list, it will iterate the list, and it has given me Netherlands as an option over here. So if I go into the code over here, the data, United States, China, Great Britain, Russia, Germany, Japan, France, Italy, Australia, and the last one is the Netherlands. So it has correctly picked up the last item. So you can pick up the first item, you can pick up the last item, and you can also iterate through whichever item you want. Now let's go ahead. Let me delete this again because I don't think so it will like this. So I will take an action now, add item, and let me go ahead and say, uh, let me not do anything. Just I will just say click on add item. Now here, if I type in add item again, it will ask me to create a variable to item to add. Now I don't get an option over here to add an item. So item to add, what am I adding? So let me show you this. So I have this where2 as a record. Now here I got as a table, change type is add an item. Now I need to add an item, enter or select a value. Now you're going to add an item within where2 items, right? So if I say where2 dot items, it says variable is being set to an incorrect type. If I select where2, then yes, it will like that, because we are going to add a record right within an item. So you cannot pick up table over here. Now if I go to where2 dot record, now you need to specify what exactly are you adding. So here I can either select a variable, or maybe I can pick up the content directly. So instead of picking a variable, let me pick up, say, this object over here, and I can go ahead and I can add the items which I want to add. Now, if I just paste this item, it won't directly like it, because it might say, oh, this is not in a proper format, right? So it is a missing required property value. So what you can do with all these different options, you can go ahead and specify that single array object. Remember what we did over here? We first copy pasted the string, and then we extracted the record out of it. So similarly, you can go ahead and add the record set over here. Okay, and then once you add the record set over here, you will be able to add that item in the list. So this is like you are adding this item dynamically. Similarly, we have a remove item. So if you want to remove a specific item, so if I click on remove item, then it will ask you which of the item you want to remove. Now you can specify item to remove, and then from here you can specify the variable, or basically the condition which item to remove, and then it will go ahead and remove that specific item. Also, you have another option to clear all the item in a list. So you just click on clear all items, and it has no parameters. And then if you go ahead and say click on send a message, and if you want to list out what all items you have currently within the collection, so let's say where2 items, click on save, and you are clearing all the items within the collection. And then if you type in the list, then you should be able to exactly see what content the list has. Now if you see, you have just typed in the command, and then you got an items as blank, right? Because all the items which was there as a part of the system has been removed. Now it is a blank list. Now if you want to add an item, you need to give a record set. Now in order to give a record set, you can go ahead variable management, list management, and you can say modify list. And modify list, you need to specify again the variable which we have created. So if I say we have created a variable of type record, and you want to add an item into that. So if I pick up tables over here, it will say add item, and then items to add. Here you can specify that particular variable. So maybe I will pick up, say, let me pick up where two dot items or where two dot items record set. So if I pick up where two dot item, it will pick up that where to record, and then it will add that record within that data set. Now, I'm not going to show you all those things. Those are like simple stock standard list management thing. But the main thing to understand is that list item has various actions: add item, remove item, take first item, take last item, and clear all items, so that you can play around with the list. So that's it, folks. Thanks for watching.